our biggest competitor here in Brazil, it's not HubSpot, it's not Infusionsoft, is that business don't know what is inbound marketing or they don't know how to do it.
Do you want to impact the world and still turn a profit? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Growth Everywhere. This is the show where you'll find real conversations with real entrepreneurs. They'll share everything from their biggest struggle to the exact strategies they use on a daily basis. So if you're ready for a value-packed interview, listen on. Here's your host, Eric Sue.
Before we jump into today's interview, if you guys could leave a review and a rating and also subscribe as well, that would be a huge help to the podcast. So if you actually enjoy the content and you'd like to hear more of it, please support us by leaving us a review and subscribe to the podcast as well. Thanks so much. All right, everybody. Today we have André Siqueira, who is one of the co-founders of RD Station. Now, André has had me at one of the biggest conferences in South America, their digital marketing conference called RD Summit, which is awesome. A couple thousand people there. André, how's it going?
I'm great, Eric. It's a great pleasure for me to be here chatting with you. And I hope we have some nice talking here and we can provide good thoughts for anyone listening.
Absolutely. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Great. Well, I'm the head of marketing at RD Station. We are right now the leading marketing automation platform in Latin America with focus on Brazil. We are now close to 7,000 customers in around 5 years of software. And we have right now 400 employees here. We've grown 2.5x this last year, 3 times the year before, and 5 times the year before. So we've been doing good for a good series of years. And we've just raised last year $19 million in funding with TPG as leading investor. So that makes us a more solid company here. We have good competitive advantages for Latin America countries. And we are ready to reach the level of the companies in the US, I guess.
Awesome, great. And raising 19 million from TPG, which is one of the biggest firms, I mean, that's not a small amount of money. Was that one of the biggest rounds raised last year in Latin America?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, it puts us in the same portfolio as companies like Uber, Spotify, and Airbnb, and many others. So it's pretty hard. And the timing is really hard for us in Brazil as well. We don't have the currency in a good shape, in a good moment. We had some political problems here. We had the president impeached, and I mean, it's not a good moment to invest in the country itself. So it was a tough process for us, but we have good metrics. We have good customer retention. We have an excellent customer acquisition cost. So all of our metrics were doing good, and it was a bit easier for them to invest because of those reasons. But I don't think there were many other companies getting that amount of money, especially in this B2B scene. I mean, we have some fintech companies here in Brazil doing good as well. We have some other types of companies. But in this type of context, I think it was pretty relevant.
Got it. Okay. So you have 7,000 paying customers at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And how does it work? I mean, how much are they generally paying you per month?
Well, they pay an average of around 500 reais, which is, I would say, $150. So that's the average. We have different packages. We have basic, pro, and enterprise, and we charge them based on the number of leads they generate. So the thing for us is that they can start smaller and get some success, and after that we can charge a bit more. I don't think it's like in America you could compare to HubSpot or Infusionsoft or anything like that. But our pricing is way lower than theirs, and that's pretty important if you go to a market like Brazil itself. So many small and medium business are really price sensitive. So you have to get a structure that can afford a lower ticket and at the same time provide some selling with high touch, customer success structure, and things like that. So it's really hard to make that mathematic works for your company.
Got it. Okay. So 7,000 paying customers a month. Now I'm just being conservative here. Let's just assume they all pay 150, even though you guys have different packages. So
Yeah.
on the conservative end, that means you guys are basically making, $1 million a month, which is fantastic. 12 million a year. So can you talk about some other metrics around the company? You talked about, number of employees and growth rates.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been growing. We have 400 employees now. We ended last year with less than 300. The year before with 150 or so. So it's been somehow quick since we had been funded. So we before TPG we had been funded by Red Point Ventures and some other Brazilian funds. So every time we get some more money, we have these spikes of hiring here. It's really hard for us to do it here because it's different from the US in the sense that you have people who work with digital marketing for a long time. You have people who work with customer success or inside sales or things like that. And right here, we can't just find those people. So you have to hire like someone junior from they just got graduated or anything like that, and you have to train them. So that's one thing we had to improve a lot. So we have a good training system here, so we can prepare people to get ready to work right without never doing the thing they're supposed to do. And about the growth rate, I said it before. We've been at least doubling in the last years, and our projections say we still double in the next 2 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So, obviously you mentioned, there's, you obviously can't charge as much as like a HubSpot or Infusionsoft, so the price has to be lower. So what makes your product different than the other ones? I'm sure you had to strip some things out and then add some other things. I'm just wondering how your product is fundamentally different than, the two competitors in the US that you mentioned.
Okay, I don't think we have, for example, HubSpot right now has CRM, so we don't have a CRM. Infusionsoft has some sort of CRM as well. And we don't have a CMS. So we have SEO features, we have marketing automation features, email marketing, we have lead management feature. A few features less, like the CTAs as well, we don't have it. But if you take a look into each feature, we usually have a few less possibilities than theirs. So if you take, for example, the number of templates we have for landing pages or email marketing is probably limited if you compare. But at the same time, that's an important thing here because when you add too much things, they tend to get complex. So if you're talking to a less mature market, people who are not trained for doing it, they don't know the concepts yet and things like that, you have to make it way easier for them to understand and to use the tool itself. So that's not just because we started later than them, but that's because the country needs this kind of approach as well,
Great. So let's talk about the first 1,000 customers. How did you go about acquiring the first 1,000 customers?
When we first started the company, we always wanted to be a software company. That was our goal. But we started offering consulting service because that was a good way for us to monetize from day one. So we were bootstrapping at that time. And more important than that, we were learning how our customers deal with this issue. So we are learning what were their pain points, what resonates with them, what kind of messaging works for them, and things like that. So we sold this consulting service to around 20 or 30 companies using our network. But while we were doing it, we had already started a blog and launching new ebooks and other kind of resources. So we started from the day one to create an audience. And when we had the first version of the software ready to launch, we already had like 20,000 emails and things like that. So we just sent an email saying we are launching a new product and they could try it. They could use it free for 1 month or so, and they could ask us to make a demo or anything like that. So it was really easy to go from 0 to 100, 200 customers because we already had this audience before. And after that, it was just a matter of creating more content and getting this inbound process better. So inbound marketing is our core. So most of our customers come from it. And we have a huge blog here in Brazil, so we have a huge audience, more than 500,000 visitors a month. We have like many ebooks that became reference for people studying the subject here. So we started producing more and more and making it always better. So that was the main point for us to get from zero to 1,000 customers. At that point, we started doing other things as well. So we had our events strategy, we had other things starting, but the beginning of all was inbound marketing, always content marketing.
Great. And so to get to the 500,000 visitors a month, I mean, how much content were you producing each month?
Right now, we produce like in the main blog around 40 posts a month. It was not always like that. In the very beginning, it was like once or twice a month. A week. And after that, we're doing better. We're generating good numbers. And last year, we had like many tests. We tried to raise the frequency. So we tried to post twice a day. Tried to slow down a little bit. So we are doing like one post or even sometimes less than that. And we found out that around one post a day is our saturation point. So if we have to write like 2 or 3 posts a day, our numbers usually don't change that much. It makes no difference. So we decided to settle in that frequency, and we also started other kind of blogs. For example, we have right now our channel program. So we have marketing agencies as partners. And right now it's like 40% of our revenue. So we started a new blog just for agencies. So we talk about the agents' business, how they can sell better, how can they keep their customers and things like that. And in this kind of in this post, we produce less content. For example, we produce usually once or twice a week. There are a few other blogs, there are a few other movements, but in the main blog, I would say it's around 30, 40 blog posts a month.
Got it. Okay. So I want to jump over to the events marketing, and I'm assuming this ties into RD Station as well. So talk about why you guys decided to go into events marketing and what kind of results it's brought you so far.
Yeah, we started we had on that time around 400 customers. We decided like last minute, okay, we're going to put up an event here. We want to get closer to our customers, to understand them better, and to share with them what we have been learning. We created this first event here, the first edition of our D Summit. It went well, and we had this feeling that we could do way better in the next years. I don't think we have in Brazil anything like our D Summit is right now, because in this last year we're here, we had like 5.5 thousand people here with 10 simultaneous tracks and many people from all over the world. And we saw that we could do it here. Like there was no one doing. It's a model that's already doing good in the US. We had these benchmarks. We see things like Dreamforce, for example, and we say, why not try to do something like that here? It's really good for us because you usually sell using computer or Skype or anything like that via inside sales. And when we got this event was a great chance for us to really meet our customers, to make them come here and to talk to their consultants and to talk to their sales guy or anything like that. And when you're in a Latin country, that kind of contact matters. People like to be close. They like to know the people they're talking to. And this was like the beginning of a huge community we have created here. So we started with our D Summit, which is our biggest event. But we also have done in the last 2 years our D on the road. So we have this event that travels around Brazil, and it's a way for us to get to know even more customers and to be close to them, to visit them in their agency, in their company. Sometimes we have like clients that they are thinking about starting inbound marketing, they are thinking about hiring us, but they are not that sure. So it's a chance for them to go there to get to know us better. And it really works. We sell a lot in this kind of event. We share lots of information and make the market itself more mature. this kind of opportunity as a barrier, a competitive barrier with some other foreigners vendors like HubSpot or Infusionsoft itself. So this kind of relationship we have with our customers make them stay with us longer for sure. Beside that, it's a huge thing for branding. There are many things that get to know RD itself and our speakers and our team just because of the events. So I'm pretty sure it's a good investment. Mainly if you consider that our biggest competitor here in Brazil, it's not HubSpot, it's not Infusionsoft, is that business don't know what is inbound marketing or they don't know how to do it. So when we have this kind of investment and we get attention, we get people to talk about the subject, we get people to share photos and things like that, and people start asking, okay, what is this thing? This is the main point for us. So it's generating demand in a market that's not mature yet.
Let's back up a second. I mean, when you talk about getting to 5,500 attendees, that's a huge amount. How many attendees did you have for your first RD Summit?
It was around 300.
300. Okay, so how did you go about getting the first 300? You had an audience pre-built already. I'm just trying to give people some steps in terms of, if they want to go into live events, how did you guys do it? What are the steps you took?
Well, I think starting small was important because we didn't have this event culture here in the company. We learn a lot every time we make an event, because every time the event's different. So when we started, we had like this 300 people here. And it was pretty interesting because we had this agenda, and by the end of the day, we were asking how people felt about it. And they said, okay, in the morning, some people said, okay, the morning was too basic, like just an intro, and the afternoon was too advanced. Usually people were in one side or other complaining about the other part. So in the next year, we could separate and create simultaneous tracks. So we have a track for beginners and a track for advanced.
So how did you go about getting the first 300, and then how did you start increasing the numbers? I'm just trying to figure out for people how you guys started to get actual attendees.
Okay, it actually followed the company itself because we kept growing our audience to sell them through inbound marketing. And it's curious because the number of attendees we have in the RD Summit is usually the same amount of customers we have in our base. Not that every customer go to the event itself, but usually we have the same amount because it reflects the size of the audience we have. So we kept producing content, creating more content, generating more audience, and that made us a better attractive company, a better attractive event itself. Also, the event itself became famous, right? It got some media, it got famous, so it started walking by itself.
What did you do exactly? Did you email your list? Did you set like a Facebook event and then drive traffic there? How did you get people to actually sign up for the event?
Yeah, we have a huge email list, so we email them all the time. But at the same time, we have like Facebook custom audience to our customer. We use lead scoring, so we try to understand which customers are more engaged. So we try to focus on all those customers with more budget than the others. We have retargeting, so we use lots of retargeting. We have pricing getting higher like every month, so we can use that as a compelling event to make them buy tickets before. We usually have many sponsors at the event, and we use those sponsors to promote the event as well. So we always prepare a good email template for them and ask them to promote to their database. We also give them discounts or things like that so they can use it to their customer base. We usually have a good PR firm as well, so we try to get in the main media channels. I think that's pretty much it, most of it. We also ask the speakers to promote the event as well. So most of our speakers are famous here in Brazil. They have their own audience and people who follow them. So we create some pictures or things like that about the event and ask them to share. So there are many things we put together to get this kind of audience here.
So what kind of costs were involved with the first RD Summit, and what kind of ROI do you think you received?
The first RD Summit was like really last minute made, and we had like, it was about $20,000 or anything like that. So it was really, really simple. But we could like in every RD Summit, what we try to do is that we try to break even ticket selling and sponsorships. So we usually break even on the tickets with the event costs, and our profit actually comes from the software sales. So last year, for example, we had like over 100 licenses sold just during the event, and that makes it profitable beside the branding itself. But we always aim for the event to pay itself. We try to always break even. That's our metric.
Awesome. Okay. So tell me about one big struggle you faced while growing RD Station.
Well, I would say if I have to look at for the whole company itself, it would be customer retention. When we started, we were like willing to sell to pretty much anyone who wanted to buy, and we found out a bit later that many of those customers would leave. Marketing automation is a complex area, so it demands effort, resources, understanding on how to operate it, and many times it needs behavior changes inside the company. So you have to make things different. You have to think different. You have to think about content performance and not just buy media like many companies do here. So not every company can afford it or are willing to do it, and it's hard even for those who can afford it. So besides having a better understanding of who are truly good and bad customers, we had to create this customer success area and find ways to help our clients to reach the success they need to be here with us for more time. So we now have created a step-by-step methodology they can follow. So we use it, we track it to understand in which part most customers are and where should we work on to get better and to help them better. We have a great onboarding process. So whenever a client goes through this process, he gets like 3 times higher chance of staying with us longer. We have quarterly business review with our clients. So we felt that we really need to be close to our customers to make it work. So we are refining the model. We are trying to understand other things. I think investing in customer retention was something really hard for us that if we could start again, we probably would look at it before.
Got it. So I'm hearing customer retention. I'm also hearing at the same time it's a lot about the targeting too. So it sounds like a lot of customer development.
Yeah, it's marketing as well. It's understanding your ideal customer profile. I mean, because the need itself, like every company needs more clients. So there are many companies willing to do it. But the way we provide more clients through content, through this kind of process is not for every company. So, for example, we had many local business here that they wanted to bring more customers. They were willing to invest in the tool itself, but it was not a good fit for them and was not the best way for them to do this kind of work. So we had to make a work here to understand which kind of customers fit better and what was our ideal customer profile to market to them, to sell to them, and we could filter here in our sales process.
Great. Okay. So I want to shift gears here. I mean, it sounds like everything's going great for you guys. You guys have gotten investments from some of the best firms in the world, and events are kicking butt for you guys. But for you, I mean, how old are you right now?
I'm 27.
27. Okay. What's one piece of advice you'd give to your 20-year-old self?
Well, that's a good question. I think that one thing that is actionable and it's a good learning, it might sound a bit silly and obvious, but my advice is to focus on what you're good at. I mean, sometimes we hear that we are not doing good in A, B, or C, and we put all of our effort in learning, in getting advices and trying to improve it. We spend lots of times on it, and we can move from really bad to just bad, Sometimes instead of that, I mean, okay, in this kind of thing, I'm not good on, and it's okay to be bad in a thing or other. I maybe can hire someone who is good on it. I can delegate to someone. But what are the things that I'm naturally good and I can easily do? And if I invest time on it, I can probably have a way better output. So it's about structuring the company and the area or whatever about my strengths. That's one thing I think I could have learned before, and it makes my life way better right now.
Love it. Okay. What's one big change you made in the last year that's impacted either you or your business in a big way?
I think was understanding in this kind of sense, understanding my role and the things I'm good at. For example, I'm not that kind of leader that is really a motivating guy that puts people like energize people or things like that. That's the kind of thing I'm not good on it. And probably it's better for me to work on strategy, to think about approaches we can do to our marketing, how we have like a better mix of investments, diagnose what kind of things are not working here, reading reports, preparing reports. That's the kind of thing I'm good on it. So I stopped doing like the other things. I was not that good, and I think the company itself has like it made my relationship with my employees better. It made the results itself better. So trying to understand what kind of things could have a higher impact and focus on those things was a good change I had last year, and I think can make a huge difference for anyone listening.
Love it. Okay, what's one must-read book you'd recommend to everyone? Ideally, could be any kind of book. Could be fiction, nonfiction, can be Brazilian.
Well, one book like probably someone have already recommended it here, but I think was a great writing was Traction by Gabriel Weinberg. It's a great way for entrepreneurs to think about how can they bring their product to the customers, what kind of channel they can use, and what are the main points about each channel. It was a great reading for us at RD, and made us think about how we could use different channels. I mean, we already have some channels working, but what other kind of things we could do, and how we could structure our marketing strategy better around those channels.
All right, great. Well, Andre, this has been fantastic. What's the best way for people to find you online?
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn. I have my profile. It's André Siqueira. I think you're probably right, because I don't think English speakers will probably get it easy. But you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter, André GC Siqueira as well. You can email at andre@rdstation.com.br.
Thanks again for doing this, Andre.
It was a great pleasure. Thank you, Eric. See you soon.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Growth Everywhere. If you loved what you heard, be sure to head back to growtheverywhere.com for today's show notes and a ton of additional resources. But before you go, hit the subscribe button to avoid missing out on next week's value-packed interview. Enjoy the rest of your week, and remember to take action and continue growing.